We came all the way out here just to do this video. So come on. I bought 2 of these cameras. The other cameras, B&H sent out to me. I was supposed to send it back like 2 months ago. So I really want to show you guys like what purposes each camera's for and what camera might be best for you, so you guys don't have to go and waste your money. I'll waste my money for you guys. Let's get into it. It's crazy how much these cameras inspire me. When it comes to these 3 cameras, I'm gonna just give the answer off the bat. If you're someone that needs a lot of versatility out of your camera, you're wanting to do video, to shoot professional photos, you need to change your lenses out, full capability, the A7C II is gonna be your go-to. This thing does it all. Flip out screen, amazing video. I think the sensor's down somewhere from like 7K. This thing's a workhorse. I absolutely love this camera. And when I looked at the viewfinder, it's very high quality. You know, the whole world takes over your eye when you look through this. It's great. But again, when it comes to the X100V, this thing, I have fun with this. So if I'm on a road trip and I see beautiful scenery around, if this is the only camera I have on me, honestly, I might not stop to shoot with this just because this camera doesn't inspire me to have fun with it. I mean, at times it does, you know, the best camera is the one you have on you, but I might not go in my way just to shoot a photo with this. But if I have the X100V, for some reason, it's like, oh, let me jump out of the car real quick and shoot this. That's the thing with Fujifilm cameras and their film simulations and the whole user experience with the camera bodies. That's what it does. All right, guys, this is our first stop. So either try to do like very perfect frame Wes Anderson type stuff, or go for more cinematic, you know, shooting into the corner of the composition, if that makes sense. Before I shoot the Sony A7C II, I'm gonna start with the X100V, and then I'm gonna go to the XT5, and I'm gonna do the Sony A7C II, and I'm gonna talk about my experience. After that, we're gonna break down the lenses and all that. All right, guys, so first, let's see what we can do with the X100V here. I don't like this composition. Don't like that either. See, the Fujifilm is a 35mm equivalent. Personally, I like 40mm, so the XT5 and Sony has a 40mm equivalent lens. I don't like that either. Yeah, I like this. Okay. We got something here. Okay. Looking through this, at first, the viewfinder feels a little bit dated. Autofocus feels a little bit dated. It's not bad, but it's not like, I've seen better, you know? Let's go to the Sony A7C II. Let's hope we're not getting kicked out right now. So already, this feels like looking through the viewfinder, it feels just like everything else. You know, I'm going in, I'm warming up my white balance because the colors just look kind of, it all looks like concrete through here. Yeah, like it looks super clean, it looks super clear, but it's just, I don't know, it doesn't motivate me to shoot. I think that's the thing, is Fuji simulations really motivate you to like shoot an image and to get out there, get off your butt, get out of your car. Now, I haven't shot with this new 27mm version 2. I had the original one on my XE4 build out. Yep. Guys, already, this whole setup reminds me of the X100V, but with the A7C II viewfinder type quality, image quality. This is literally those 2 cameras put into one. Yeah. This is the business. Come to the Sony A7C II viewfinder. Again, it's just, the colors look very bland and gray, even though the image quality is better. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't inspire me the same way. I think one way they could fix this, my homie Tyler Stallman just did a video on this with the Panasonic S5 IIX. They give you LUTS support in the stills mode. If Sony was to give us LUTS support in stills mode, that would really get us across that bridge on getting more inspiring colors. The whole debate on if Sony colors are good or bad, I don't mind them, but they don't move me like a Fujifilm camera does. Please, Sony, please just, come on. You guys are the best. Give us just little tiny things, you know? Anyways, Shutter Degree 2 and Open Gate. Anyways. All right, guys, let's go through our setups here. These are basically the setups I go to for each camera if I'm doing any type of like lifestyle, road trip, adventure type photography. We'll break them down and compare them, and we'll go through the lens hoods and all of that. On the Sony, we're using the 40mm f2.5. You could tell that, you know, Sony took a little bit of inspiration from Fujifilm. We'll get into that here in a second. It's cooler because we have an aperture ring, so you kind of get like that whole film experience with there. And then I just have a square lens hood. I will put links to all this stuff in the description. And we have a click on and off. So if you're using this for video, you can declick it. So this is a really fun user experience if you're going to use this setup for, you know, travel, road trip type photography. You can totally get by with this. So when it comes to the Fujifilm X100V, obviously this is a fixed lens camera, but what's cool is I have this little square lens hood on here. You could kind of swivel around too. I kind of needed to keep it adjusted. You can still fit your glitter glass in here, which usually I'm running on this. On the back, I have the LensMate thumbstick. The reason I like this because you could take this out, and if you need to get a quick adjustment, you can do it from right there. Usually I like to just come down and, you know, do my settings, bring it back up to my eye. And then my shutter release button is made out of brass. Now this setup is what's kind of replacing the X100V experience for me, because this is the 27mm. Technically, this is the 40mm equivalent. And I actually like that more than 35mm when it comes to travel and road trip photography. You can see the version 2 here. We have an aperture ring up here as well. What's cool is this lens hood actually screws in, so it doesn't move around on you. The scary thing is when you focus this lens, the whole front element moves. So you don't want to, you know, mess with this too much and swivel it, because you're actually messing with the focus unit on here. Alpha Guard skin. You guys know I do the OD screen on everything. Don't move, don't move. You can see that from there. It looks cool on camera.
Yeah, it looks like an old beat down building.
Yeah, occasion and someone comes out, just wave. It's usually the easiest way not to get kicked out. I love capturing this stuff because in like 2 or 3 years, this is gonna look brand new. I like capturing these things because I'm into nostalgia, I'm into authenticity, I'm into old things, and I'm into the way that things used to look. So I'm just, you know, this is my brain, how my brain works. But I can tell the image quality on this it's gonna be a lot better, but yeah, I can tell the image quality, it's full frame. I can tell it's a little bit cleaner. But it's so boring. Like, Jesus, it is boring to shoot with this. Again, this is a great camera, and there's a lot more that you could do with this camera than you can with the Fuji cameras, but it's just, for stuff like this, it doesn't inspire me, so. This is really cool composition right here. I don't know why, but I really like this. I'm having so much fun. This is very fulfilling. It brings a lot of happiness. I feel content doing this. There's no client, there's no brand, there's no job involved. It's just me being a photographer, just like doing, you know, what I love and I'm passionate about each camera and why you would want to go with that specific camera. And then we'll go over why you wouldn't want to go over that specific camera. So the X100V, because I think this is like the kind of the catalyst to getting into this type of photography that brings me so much passion and happiness. Why would you want to get this? A lot of reasons. One is just, it's a freaking cool camera, but the experience of it will motivate you to get out and shoot that type of photography. It has a built-in flash, which is a huge thing for me because I'm a hardcore introvert. And so having a flash and a little camera that looks like a film camera, if I go out into an event, this gets me talking to people, this gets people coming up and approaching me, because I'm not going to approach them just because I'm not scared to. It's just I don't have the energy to. The little viewfinder on there's not a big protrusion on the top up here, and the viewfinder is really fun to use. The main thing with this is it goes off to the side, so my big greasy nose doesn't get all over this, versus on the XT5, viewfinder smack down the middle, so my nose starts touching the screen and it starts moving things. And so that's the upside to a rangefinder. Jake had a good point too. There's something magical about having a fixed lens because it forces you just to shoot the damn photo. You stop overthinking. It's like, oh, I can't figure out the shot because I can't change my lens. You just stick to this lens, you're stuck with it. You have to use your feet as a zoom, and it just forces your brain to see that image. The other thing I need to mention, there's an optical rangefinder, viewfinder. I don't use it too much because that's one of the reasons I shoot with this over film is, you know, I wear prescriptions, and shooting through prescription glasses, it's really fatiguing, adds a lot of stress, and it kind of ruins the fun a little bit. Like I feel like the stress hormones like pumping out of me when I'm trying to mount and focus on a film camera. Let's move into the Sony. Why would you want the A7C II? This is an amazing, amazing hybrid camera. This is basically the Sony A7 IV. A lot of my homies actually use that for jobs, high-end commercial jobs for photography and video. Same sensor, same image quality. Like that's kind of mind-blowing. We have a swivel out screen. I could vlog with this. I could put any of my lenses from the FX3, the A7R5 onto this. Faster lenses, it's full frame. Obviously, if you're a hybrid shooter, I think this is the go-to camera. Obviously, the X-T5 does not have this screen. It doesn't have a lot of the video features that this guy would have. The reason this camera brings me happiness is just because of how great and easy it is to use. but it's just, there's no film simulations. Like the Sony colors have come a long way. They look great. They look nothing like film simulations though, especially for stuff like this. This camera is just, the reason you'd want this, it's everything you get in the X100V plus more, because you could change the lenses out. Fujifilm has amazing lenses. It's almost just as small as the X100V. It's just a little bit bigger. So again, you could change out the lenses, way better video performance on here, the X100V, but the A7C2's video performance is gonna crush this thing, mainly because we don't have a flip out screen on here. If you're gonna do video, just get the XH2S. That thing is amazing for video. You're gonna lose the megapixels. You're gonna lose this amazing vintage form factor. So why wouldn't you want this? No flip out screen. I think Fuji took a huge misstep not giving us a swivel out screen, because I would have loved to use this for video. I'm assuming they did that because they don't want to deal with people complaining about overheating maybe. And you know, they're trying to segment each camera. So you buy multiple cameras instead of one camera, which I'm not against that. They're a business. Like, I'm all for that. But just give us the swivel out screen, guys. Come on. It's been great if I could have used this for vlogging. I would have loved to use this because I love the F-Log2. I love the dynamic range performance of the sensor. I just want, and it's small. It's smaller than the FX3, which is usually my go-to for video. Fuji took a big misstep. Yeah, guys, I'm telling you, like, shooting with the A7C2, it's just, I don't know. Like, I know the image quality is gonna be amazing, but immediately when I look into this camera, it's just night and day. I will say the experience between the XT5 and the X100V is the fact that the viewfinder is smaller, and it kind of has a vibe to it when you're shooting through it, where this definitely feels a lot cleaner. I'm really loving this setup here. I do wish I had a glimmer glass in all of these, but I wanted to keep it neutral. So let's run through the experience again. I found my framing. Again, let's start with the X100V. Yes, just the vibe you get out of this. It makes it way more fun. Again, the XT5's viewfinder is of better quality than the X100V, but there's just something special about the experience with this. Now let's do immediately, like, this is so boring to shoot with. XT5 time now. Yeah, yep. Yeah, okay. All right, so what's funny, guys, is when I go to frame up, I immediately want to frame up with the X100V, which I think is kind of interesting because I think that's inspiring me to find the frame. If I was stuck with the A7C2 and I'm trying to frame up and I couldn't find it, I'd just move on. I'd be like, whatever. But for some reason, again, when you're looking through this viewfinder and you have the classic negative simulation on, it's just, I don't know. It's fun. It makes you want to be a photographer. So I was kind of struggling to find that composition right there, the X100V. And the main thing is like when you shoot film through medium format, the 5x4 composition, it just really bounces out for like lifestyle still life type photography. The Fuji X100V only does a 3x2. On the new 40 megapixel sensor, you know, we could do a 4x3 and a 5x4 crop in photo mode, because I already know I'm going to do that crop in post. So it really helps just having that in camera. The Sony A7C2 can do that crop too. I think it's a 4x3 though. I'm not sure it's 5x4. The whole reason I got the XT5 now is I'm starting to shoot more stuff with my Bronco, more adventure stuff. And there's a lot of times where it's like, I wish I could zoom in a little bit more. That's where this steps in. I started to see comparisons online where the bodies were actually kind of similar in form factor. So you can see that's the top of it, that's the side of it, that's the back of them. Here's the side, the other sides of them. So you can see Fujifilm actually did a really good job. They made the XT5 smaller, which I think was very smart. Now, the two big differences between this, we'll go through each segment on both of these as I'm taking pictures around town, but you can see the A7C2, this is more of a workhorse when it comes to a hybrid system. The Fujifilm back screen here, this is how much as it comes down. It doesn't swivel out, it goes up, it goes down. That's all we got. If Fujifilm allowed us to do this camera would have been just insane. But in order to get this, you have to get the XH2 body, which is more of a form factor like this, where you got the buttons and dials on there, and it doesn't have the vintage look. So at that point, I just rather shoot with this and get full frame image quality. So guys, Jake actually brought his XH2. So you can see actually next to the A7C2, it actually feels way bigger. It just feels like a regular Sony camera, honestly. My conclusion on all these cameras is they're all amazing, but they're all totally different tools, different uses and needs. And let's just round all this up. So the Sony A7C2, this is a workhorse of a camera. I could shoot documentaries and films and use all my Sony glass from A7R5 and FX3 whole lineup. And the quality's better, viewfinder's better, everything about it is better. But the X100V is like my inspiration camera. It's like what keeps me going. It's the camera where I'm getting sick of tired of making videos and doing client work and all that. The X100V is what keeps this art form and this whole creative endeavor alive. So the XT5 is just the melting point of both of those. You're still able to do all those things right there, which is a little bit more workaround. If you want to do video, get the XH2. And if you don't need the megapixels, get the XH2S. I really wish they put the XH2S sensor in a camera like this in a body. But anyways, that's a different video. This is just these two cameras blended together. But if I had to choose, I can't. I just like all of them.